Some of the Stormcast Eternal models you've come to know and love over the years are all going to Legends later this year, meaning that they can't be played in any official event. And Jerome has brought his gorgeously painted Stormcast Eternal army for a final send-off battle against a familiar foe on this channel, the Sylvaneth. It's Forest Might versus Lightning Strikes as Papa Bear Studios presents the Sylvaneth versus the Stormcast Eternals for the last march of the Sacrosancts. Welcome everyone as Jerome and the Stormcast Eternals gear up for his final battle against Papa Bear and his Sylvaneth.
Today the Stormcast are the root of all of Bear's problems.
The mission today is limited resources, where you score 2 points for holding one objective, 2 more points for holding 2 or more objectives, and another 2 points if you control more objectives than your opponent. And the battle tactics are worth 4 points as well. Make sure you check out our sponsors today, Dragonfall, the charitable gaming convention, and Goblin Games and Hobby, where you can find all your tabletop gaming needs. And when you use my code Goblin Express, all your shipping is free in the continental US. Links in the description below. Hey everyone, got the Sylvaneth today, and I have 2 regiments and a couple of auxiliary units that I'm taking. So a few drops today that I'll be doing. But the first regiment I want to talk about is the General Regiment, and that is led by the Lady of Vines. The lady herself, what I like about her is that she counts as an awakened wildwood. So there'll be some shenanigans hopefully with her in the upcoming game. And also she can give a 5-up ward with anything wholly within 12 inches of her as long as I get that spell off. Accompanying the Lady of Vines, I have got a reinforced unit of Kurnoth Hunters with scythes. So I've got 6 scythe boys in that unit. They're just a big beat stick, a damage 3 weapons, anti-charge, gives a +1 to Ren. So awesome unit. I try to take Kurnoth anytime I'm running my tree folk. In my next regiment, Regiment 1, I've got Belthanos. Belly, as I call him, and he'll be running with a unit of Gossamer Archers and 2 units of 5 tree revenants. Now, the archers and the tree revs are going to be the ones moving around the board, scoring the battle tactics, getting me points, just being generally move blocking and annoying, and hopefully can have my opponent make some poor decisions. Now, Belly himself, he gives 3 units run and charge, which makes him a very valuable piece. He also is pretty decent in combat as well, so you got to bring Belly anytime you take the Sylvaneth. He's an auto take for me. Next up, my auxiliary units. I've got 2 Spirit of Durthu. So I've got the Durthu boys. They'll be running with me, Big D's, and they've got damage 5 swords, very tanky. One of them will have the Seed of Rebirth, so he can come back on a 3-up. So hopefully I'm just going to get him stuck in right away and then get that Seed of Rebirth and bring him back to life. Now, that is 2,000 points on the nose of my tree folk.
My name is Jerome. What I brought today was the entire Sacrosanct Chamber of Stormcast. So this year, all these Stormcasts are going into Warhammer Legends. So I wanted to get one more good game out of them before they weren't match play legal. And so what I have is every single unit in this army is a wizard, even the battle line. In my first regiment, I took Aventus Firestrike. He's the Magister of Hammerhall, riding a giant monster. He's a heavy hitter, and he can cast 2 spells each hero phase. Protecting him and his honor guard are 2 units of 5 Sequitors, really beefy, tanky frontline units that'll screen any charges. And then also in his unit is Storm Coven, which are good at casting spells and put out a lot of damage during the attack phase. In my second regiment, I have Asteria Soulbright, who's riding a Dracoline, and accompanying her are 2 units of 5 Evocators. which are paladin-like warrior mages, as well as a unit of evocators also riding Dracolines. Asteria is going to give buffs to any of the units that are riding mounts in today's game, and so they'll be the hammer that really rips through the forest in Bear's army. And then I have 2 auxiliary units. I've got a Lord Arcanum on foot, and I have a Knight Arcanum, just bringing more spells to the table. Also, they're painted up warrior mages, and they fit the theme of the army. And then accompanying them is my Stormgate Portal, which will allow me to move any units within 6 inches anywhere on the board I want, as long as it's 9 inches away from Bear's units. And I'm bringing the Manifestations of the Storm. So I'll have several endless spells that'll put out a lot of damage and make it harder for Bear to cast any of his own spells. So all in all, I have 1,940 points because I don't need the extra 60, and I think it's going to be a good game.
All right, here is our board for this battlefield. Sylvaneth over here. Stormcast Eternal are on this side. And Jerome, tell us why you put the things where you put the things.
All right, so everything in my army hits like a truck. And so my battle plan is to slowly advance up the field.
It's great news for me.
And try to board you within the first couple of turns.
Okay.
But I'm going to pick a battle tactic of take the flanks. So I also want to make sure that I can have a unit on each side of the board within 6 inches of the short edge.
Yep.
So I can pick up that battle tactic.
All right. So we'll be back after the Stormcast have done their spells and done the moving. We will show you the aftermath. We are at the Stormcast Eternal turn 1 after the movement phase. So, Jerome, tell us why you moved, where you moved, and what your Honor Guard unit is.
Absolutely. So starting with the Honor Guard, this Storm Coven is in the General's Regiment. They're my Honor Guard. I'm going to give them that +1 to Ren against monsters because of how beefy your army is. And then as I moved up the board, I wanted to make sure I was holding some of these objectives. I'm not worried about you getting behind me yet. And I made sure that I'm accomplishing my battle tactic by having units on both of the short ends here. And then I had a really successful hero phase. I can cast 6 spells a turn by default. And I got several lightning blasts off against some of your units, like the Kurnoth Hunters and your Spirits of Durthu.
Yep.
I summoned the Dais to give extra mobility and casting value to this Knight Arcanum. And then I got off the Vortex, which will hopefully put some damage out once we are engaging each other.
Yes. So the Kurnoth, they took a wound. The Spirit of Durthus, they took a couple wounds themselves. Every model in Jerome's army is a wizard. So I had to survive all this furious lightning coming at me. Also in the hero phase, I did bring down a tree, so it was good there. And my Honor Guard unit will be the Kurnoth Hunters, as you see here, and they will have the +1 hidden wound against the General Regiment's units. So I'll be looking to come after these guys here. Now, that was the moving. Are there any charges you think you can make?
I might be able to make some. I think I got some long charges out of this group here. But really, my goal is to have an imposing battle line, expecting you to charge into me.
And it looks like that's what I'll have to do. If there are any charges are made, we'll be back. Otherwise, we'll do Sylvaneth turn 1. Sylvaneth turn 1. As you see, we have done our moving here. And so essentially, I moved up to try to threaten the Stormcast that is right on the edge, as you can see here. I walked the hidden paths and moved up with the Durthus. The Gossamans moved up to try to take this objective back. Belly's right next to them. And then I moved up with the Scythes and the Lady of Vines as well. And I put the Tree Revenants, they waypiped into this corner here just to give the Stormcast something to think about on their next turn. Now, I've got a few potential charges here. I'm going to try to get the Kurnoth here. I need a decent sized charge for that. And I'm going to try to get the Durthus into this unit here. And that should probably be about it. We did the shooting. Shooting was of no consequence, so nothing to see here. All right, my battle tactic is take their flanks as well. So I've got the unit here, one battle edge, and then I've got the wave pipers over here on the other battle edge, taking the flanks. Now, we are going to try to do some charges. If the charges are successful, we will return to finish off the Sylvaneth's turn. Our charges are all done. We actually did pretty good on the charges. So I was countercharged. Jerome countercharged me with these guys here into my archers. So my archers are in trouble. But Belly made his charge into that character. And a Spirit of Durthu made his charge into these mounted units here. And the sides made their charge into these guys here. So we are all stuck in. This Big D failed his charge, and then the lady was too far to charge anything, so she is by herself. Now, we're going to come back after the aftermath, and depending on how the dice go, might be good or bad for the tree folk. First up, we have Belly into, what's their name?
Asteria Soulbarite.
Asteria Soulbarite. Okay, now, first thing, he has the Rhythm of the Chase. So on a 2-up, roll a d3. On a 2-up, I inflict mortal wounds. So that's the first step here. That will be 3 mortal wounds to Soulbarite. And now, we're going to go right into our attacks. First off, he has got the Kurnoth Glaive. That's 5 attacks. That is 3s and 3s.
Good.
3s to wound.
3.
Drop 2 there. All right, 3 at 2 rend.
Then I'm going to spend my last CT.
Okay.
So that's 3 attacks at 4 up.
Yep.
Made 2 of them. 1 goes through.
All right, that is 3 damage. And his final attack, he's got the razor-like mandibles from his Great Spite. Now, that's hitting on 4s here. So only 1 goes through. That's wounding on 2, though. That is a wound.
Any rend?
Rend 2.
Rend 2.
So saving on a 4.
Okay.
To keep her alive.
Just 1 saving on a 4. Ah.
Another 3 damage.
All right. That kills her. Good job.
Okay. So Belly takes out a target. And Jerome, what we got? Okay, so we've got Lord Arcanum. All right, so just to explain here. Belly took out
Asteria Soulbarite.
Asteria Soulbarite. And then the Tree Lord attacked and took out one of the mounted units there. And then over here, one of the Kurnoths took out one of the guys here. Now,
Lord Arcanum.
Lord Arcanum is going to retaliate against Big D. Here we go.
The 3s and 3s. That's a lot of 2s.
Oh.
3s. That's a crit. All right. So that'll be Rend 1.
Rend 1, and he was all out defended. So he's saving on a 3. Which
right,
he gets.
Got it.
I'm going to attack with the archers. And then we've got one more attack here. And we'll be back with the aftermath. The aftermath of all the fighting that we have done. My Tree Lord is at 6 wounds remaining. I lost a Kurnoth Hunter. And I lost all but 1 Gossamed Archer. So no surprise there. So I did score take the flanks. I am controlling at least 2 objectives. But the Stormcast are controlling more, because I was unable to secure this objective here. Now, we're at the end of the turn. I will have to do some healing, but before we do that, the important turn 2 roll-off. Oh, let's get it in the box. A 5, that's a 3. So I will... Stormcasts will take their turn. I'm going to elect to go second, so I can take a battle tactic instead. We will see if that's the right decision. So I won the roll off, but the Stormcast will take their turn, and as normal, as if there was no double turn. I'm not going to take it. And we'll be back with Stormcast, turn 2. Stormcast, turn 2. Now, this is at the end of the hero phase, so Jerome, tell us all of your wizard shenanigans that you just did here.
Absolutely. So first thing he did is he's pulled the Everblaze Comet out of the heavens. That comet pulses mortal wounds, but all of them missed. But they also subtract 1 from your casting rolls.
Yep.
You tried to cast a spell, but that -1 made the difference.
Yeah, it did.
And then for his second spell, he cast Pyro Electric Blast into the Kurnoth Hunters, trying to chip them away because of Slay the Entourage, which is my battle tactic this turn.
Yep. And I lost a hunter due to the Pyro Mania.
Yep.
Whatever that power was, I lost the hunter.
This Storm Coven cast a spell as well, which unfortunately I am already blanking on what they did to you. Let me check real quick. So they made these Kurnoth Hunters have strike last for the rest of the turn.
Yes.
And
yes.
so I'm going to really be able to wipe them out in the combat phase before I have to worry about them. Then this Lord Arcanum cast a Lightning Blast into the Kurnoth Hunters.
Yep.
Trying to whittle them down. And then finally the Knight Arcanum has 2 spells. First thing she did was subtract 1 from wound rolls for him for the rest of the turn. And then, did I cast her second spell?
I don't think so.
She's gonna give a lightning blast into.
Yep. And then these guys have a 5-up ward.
That's right. Yep, they do, because they saw Asteria Soulbright die last turn and were within 12 inches of her when she died.
Yes.
So her lightning energy is now invigorating them for the rest of the turn. Got the lightning blast off on Belly. Going to be D3. That is 2 mortal wounds.
So he'll take 2. All right. And I think that is all for the hero phase. I was not successful in casting the Lady of Vine's power. The plan was to give everything within a 12-inch bubble a 5-up ward, but because of the comet, I failed my casting roll. So good play by the Stormcast there. Now hero phase is all over. We're going to do some moving, we're going to do some shooting, and we'll be back for some charging. The Stormcast turn 2. The Stormcast have done moving, they have done shooting, and they have done the charging. So, Jerome, where'd you move? What happened?
So starting on this side of the table, the Sequitors moved and charged successfully into those sprites. Really pulled in almost my whole army onto these Kurnoth Hunters. Got a lot of successful charge rolls off. You countercharged and got your Durthu in the back of my Aventus Fire Strike.
Yep.
Failed a charge on this Knight Arcanum over here, but I did get a wonderful charge roll off on my Sequitors on the other flank.
Yeah, so pretty good there. So the Slay the Entourage is the battle tactic, and as you can see, every Stormcast here is surrounding my Kurnoth, so they're in trouble. That's why I wanted that ward with the Lady of Vines to try to help them out, because I knew this was going to be the play. So we'll see. But happy that I made the counter charge against the
Aventus Fire Strike.
Aventus Fire Strike. I'm going to get these names right before this game is over. So just something to think about there. But where do you think we're going to start our battle?
For combat, since they have strike last.
Oh yeah, they do.
I'm going to take Aventus and attack your Spirit of Durthu before he gets a chance to hit me.
Aventus in a big D.
Aventus Fire Strike gave all the Stormcast +1 to hit against your Kurnoth Hunters with his Comet Trail, but he is going to attack the Spirit of Durthu right next to him. So first he's going to use the Staff of Hammerhall. This is 4 attacks on 3s and 3s. That's 1. And 3's the wound. Alright, 1 went through. This is Ren 2.
Now Durthu all-out defense, so now he is saving on a 4.
You got
And
it.
I saved it. Okay.
All right, second round of attacks coming out of Lorthar, his mount. These are 3 attacks, hitting on 4s. 1 goes through. Wounding on a 3. That goes through. Ren 1.
Ren 1, so I'm saving on 3 here.
All right, good
and
job.
I am safe.
No damage.
So Big D survives. Now we are going to put. So Durthu is going to attack these guys. What are these?
Evocators.
Evocators.
And that's Belthanos.
Yes. Okay. Wow. See, I'm so distraught over my poor Kurnoth. I'm screwing up all the names. Belly is going to attack the Evocators when we come back. We're back after some of the combats here. I lost 3 tree revs, so I'm no longer holding this objective. I lost 2 tree revs here, but nothing is at stake back there as of yet. Also, Belly took out a few more of these guys, but I lost all my archers here. So as of right now, I am losing this objective because they can heal and bring a guy back. So I would have lost this objective at the end of the turn. We're going to go to Big D into
Aventus Firestrike.
Aventus Firestrike right now. Now, Big D's got 9 wounds left. I think Aventus is completely healthy.
Yep, 12 wounds. I'm using all-out defense, so 2 up save.
2 up save. And because the Spirit of Durthu is next to a tree, he gets to add 1 to his hit rolls. So that's great. And is your Aventus a monster?
Yes.
All right. He also has Titanic Duel. So I roll a dice. On a 3-up, I subtract 1 from the attack characteristic. Well, that didn't matter because you already attacked.
And whiffed all of it.
And yeah, and whiffed all the things. So never mind there. But I'm hitting. I do have a +1 to hit because I am next to a tree. Now, Durthu's hurt. So his Guardian Sword is at 3 attacks, not 4. But he's hitting on 2s. They all hit. He's wounding on 2s. So 2 wounds go 3, and this is at 3 rend because you're a monster.
Saving on a 5-up.
Nope. So 10 damage there. And then he's got 2 more attacks with his massive impaling talons. That's hitting on 3s. So drops 1 there. And this is also wounding on 2s. That does wound, and that is another 2 rend.
Saving on a 4-up. Oh.
And that's 3 more damage.
That'll bring him. That'll kill him.
That takes him out?
Takes him out. You got him.
Takes him out. Look at Big D getting it done. It doesn't mean anything for the objective, but that is 1 less monster on the table, and now the Kurnoth are likely going to meet their demise here, as every Stormcast on the table is going to try to punch them down. And we'll be back with that mess coming up next.
Alright, so Bear just took out my Aventus Firestrike with his Spirit of Durthu. Sometimes you're going to hear him complain that his Durthus are letting him down, but in my opinion, they're doing a pretty good job.
Alright, as you can see, there's 1 Kurnoth Hunter remaining. Everybody over here has attacked and took out the rest of the unit. The Tornado is the last one with attacks left. This Kurnoth Hunter has 4 health remaining. So we are looking at the Tornado, who's got 12 attacks.
These are 3-ups. Critting is an auto wound.
Okay.
So wounding on a 4-up. That is 4, rend 1.
Okay. Alright, so saving on 5s here because of the rend. So I take 3. It's 1 damage each.
Yep, you got your...
And my 6 of ward. I do take 3, but that would leave the Kurnoth Hunter alive with 1 wound remaining. Does the Tornado have more attacks?
No.
So, the Kurnoth Hunter survives. The reason this is significant is because it denies Slay the Entourage because my unit has lived. And that's huge. Any other shenanigans, Dro?
Gonna try to see.
Trying to see
we
if he's
part ways here.
He's got something up his sleeve to take off one wound from the Kurnoth and secure this battle tactic.
I don't think I have it.
All right. So, slay the entourage denied, but as you can see, the Stormcast is on plenty of objectives. So we're going to score this all up. We'll be back for Sylvaneth turn 2. So far, the Kurnoths with size, they haven't done much as far as damage is concerned, but they held up his entire army for 2 turns. I can't be mad about that. Size did good. Sylvaneth, turn 2. Now we have hero phased, we have moved, we have shot, and we have charged. So here's what happened in the hero phase. I didn't get off a single spell, so that was lovely. So no more trees for me. Actually, I take that back. I did get off her 5 up war within 12 inches, which only affects Belly here. But Belly failed his charge, so he won't be in combat anyway. Now, also what happened, the Stormcast redeployed. You notice they were here. Now they are here, making him have a 6-inch charge, which I failed. So why that's important is because they're part of the General's Regiment, which will give me my Slay the Entourage, which is the battle tactic that I took. So it's not possible for Belly to get the Entourage here, but I am now controlling this objective. Here's where it gets interesting. My 2 Durthus have charged into this blob of Stormcast. Now, Slay the Entourage would apply to these guys here, and they also would apply to these mounted units here. So if I take out one of those, I will get my battle tactic for this round, which would be good because that would put me controlling 3 objectives with the Lady of Vines, Belly, and my home objective, and a battle tactic, which should put me in the lead because this game is close. Now, we shot. There was nothing of consequence in the shooting phase, and we are going to get into our combat as all the charging is done. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to start with Durthu. We'll start with this one, who is going to put... Good question. He's going to put everything into these bounded units here so I can try to get Slay the Entourage. And we'll be back to find out what's going to happen. Alright, so it's a total disaster for the Sylvaneth here. Absolute disaster. So, 2 Durthus piled in. I needed to take out this unit or these guys to slay the Entourage and take the lead. Big D absolutely whiffed. Or what are these?
I think he missed every attack.
Missed every single attack. Missed it all. Missed everything. So then it was up to this Durthu, in focus, this Durthu, take out these guys. Now, because he went first, missed, Stormcast went next, piled in to this Durthu, taking me out of combat range, and therefore unable to even attack the Evocators.
Good job, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Unable to attack the Evocators, but Durthu did get rid of the tornado, but who cares? I needed to get rid of the Evocators. So I do not score my battle tactic, which is the whole reason I wanted to go second. And of course, Belly failed his charge there, which prevented me from doing these guys here, which would have gotten me the battle tactic as well.
Fair, I know this might not be the right time, but I just want to call out the precision of the Stormcast in this match. Millimeters make the difference.
It really does. It really does. So that is the end of the turn. The trees have to heal. Stormcast also have to heal. But now that we're at the end of the turn, very important roll off to see who will go next. Now this is going to be huge here. A 3. Will you be taking your turn?
Uh-huh.
When we come back, the Stormcast will go next, and we will see what happens as the Sylvaneth are slowly running out of assets. Oh, I lost my tree revs here, and I lost my tree revs back here. So we are running out of trees. We'll see what the Stormcast do. Turn 3. Stormcast, turn 3. We did our hero phase. We have moved and we have charged. So Jerome, what is your battle tactic? What'd you move? What'd you do, sir?
So battle tactic is take their lands. So I moved to that tree line in the back because it's the only objective wholly within your territory. So I'm now in control of that, or at least I will be at the end of my turn.
Yep.
And then I made a lot of charges. The Spirit of Durthu is my target. Move the Sacrosanct into a defensive position. And then I'm just trying to lock Belthanos up in combat, so it's not as easy for him to go other places on the map. My goal to win here isn't necessarily to kill everything you have, it's just to hold the objectives and outpace you in points.
Yeah. And as far as end of the turn shenanigans, I striked and fade with Durthu and put him here next to Lady of Wildwoods, who counts as a Wildwood herself. So I did that, and that was all. The only thing else that happened at the end of the turn was that the trees heal. So I did heal, but that was it. And now we are going to your first combat, which is who?
Combat number 1, I think I'm going to take these Evocators and go into your Spirit of Durthu.
All right, so Big D's got 10 wounds left, and we'll see if the Evocators can whittle him down.
All right, so these are 3s and 3s. They're going to get +1 to wound, so it's 3s and 2s. All right, they're going to wound on 2-ups. All right, so that is 6 save rolls for you. Ren 1.
6 to Ren 1, so Spirit of Durthu was saving on 4s.
That's all but one of them.
Yeah. All right, I do take 1.
And Immortal, so that is
Immortal.
2 wounds.
All right, he's down to 8. So we'll go to Belly. Now, he's got 5 attacks. We're hitting on 3s and 3s. So it's 4 hits. And 2 wounds. 2 wounds at Rend 2.
All right, saving on a 5-up. Nothing.
All right, so that is 4 total damage.
All right, so 2 more folk die.
And then he's got 4 more attacks at 4 and 2. Okay. And then 2. All right, so 2 at 2 Rend.
5-up. Made them both.
All right. So that is it for him. So we'll be back for Durthu's Aftermath. So we are back, and yeah, I mean, Durthu just kind of whiffed again, did not take out anybody. Big D's are really letting me down this game. I cannot explain it. They're just letting me down. Belly took out 3 guys here, and that was all the combat. So Stormcast will score take their land, and they are holding 1, 2, 3 more objectives than the Sylvaneth. So we're going to score this up. It's at the end of the turn, and we'll be back, and we'll see what the Sylvaneth respond will be. I'm not sure what I'll do, but we'll be back and find out. Sylvaneth, turn 3. Sylvaneth, turn 3, and we are running out of assets. So here's the plan. I am taking the take their land battle tactic. Okay. I walk the hidden paths to put Durthu here to try to make this charge, to be on this objective and take 2 of these guys out so I can now hold the objective again. Hopefully. Now I rallied. Durthu's back up to full health. The Stormcast did 1 mortal wound with a spell on this Durthu, so he's got 4 left. Belly can't go anywhere. He's in combat. He's not going to retreat. And the Lady of Vines is going to move to this objective here and take the land of the Stormcast Eternals. We're going to be back after we shoot and we charge, and we're going to see if I have a chance to make a game out of this in my turn, and we'll be back. We're back, and unfortunately, Big D did not make his charge against the
Evocators.
What are they on?
On Dracolines.
Evocators on Dracolines. Okay. So my battle tactic was take their land, which I'll get, but I needed to make this charge so I can hold more objectives, and then that would give me options. With Durthu failing this charge, I'd have to spend my turn 4 trying to get up here. I'd be wrapped up in combat for at least that turn, and I don't have enough assets because Durthu has fallen. He was totally surrounded. He has fallen, and I don't have enough assets with 3 models left in order to control enough board to actually outscore the Sylvaneth. To outscore the Stormcast. So, with the last march of the Sacrosancts, they do take the victory this day. Very, very close, hard-fought game, but Stormcast come out on top. All right, folks, that is it for our game. Thank you so much, and we will see you all on the tabletop. Durthu failed a 9-inch charge twice. That's it. That's the game.
Alright, so this was my last game with my Sacrosanct Stormcast. I've been collecting them since 2nd edition when they came out. And me and Bear have played a lot of games over the years of Age of Sigmar. And I think this was the closest one we've ever had. I expected them to hit harder. I feel like they weren't as scary as they used to be in previous editions. And I don't think either of us made any tactical errors. This was just a battle plan where 2 armies had to grind against each other. I had a lot of fun casting 6 to 7 spells every turn. Did not expect to lose some of my most powerful units right off the bat in the first round like I did. But what I did appreciate was Cycle of the Storm, where Sacrosanct units, which is my whole army, could keep healing at the end of each turn. I think that did me a lot of favors and helped me win the game.